Welcome into Sosa's Steam Room. Today we're talking the Cubs Game 3 loss and how they'll bounce back. The Bulls head into their last preseason game. And of course, the Bears' continual woes. And some other pretty good stuff. Hit it. What's up, everybody? My name is Drew Edstrom, and the other co-host of this podcast is the one, the only, Blake Van Pocky. Blake, anything to say to the people? Just That's all we get from Blake tonight.
That's all you get right now.
Well, welcome into episode 20 of Sosa's Steam Room. A couple things you guys need to know. Shoot us an email at sosassteamroom@gmail.com. We have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts. Just search Sosa's Steam Room. We also have personal Twitter accounts. Myself, at DN Edstrom, and Blake, your Twitter handle?
Soldier Field, BLG.
BLG. Also, sosassteamroom.com.
Always.
You can also find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, as well as Spreaker, and iTunes, of course. Don't forget to subscribe. So that's some good stuff here.
Yes.
You know what's some not good stuff, Blake?
The Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs, which is not a normal occurrence when we talk about the Cubs on this podcast, but if you're listening to this, we're just coming off of Game 3, first game in Los Angeles tonight, and the Cubs got beat pretty good.
Handily. Couldn't hit the ball. Giving up some long home runs. Not a great night.
So Blake, what's your confidence level at this point?
Confidence level. That's a tough one. I'm still confident that they can win 3 more games before losing their next 2. But what will be Kershaw game 5?
Mm-hmm, correct.
You know, we'll see how it goes tomorrow. But my confidence level is still probably just as much as it was before this game. I know games like this can happen, so I'm not really – I don't know. Nothing's different for me from that perspective. How about you?
Yeah, well, I mean, tonight was really frustrating, and those thoughts started to creep in a little bit for me.
Yeah.
And then I saw a stat tonight that was not very encouraging, that the Cubs had never been shut out twice in a row until tonight, which is pretty ridiculous. But, yeah, the bats have just all of a sudden fallen asleep, except for Chris Bryant for the most part. He's been great. Yep. But other than him, I mean, the middle of that lineup has just fallen asleep. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And
seriously.
You brought in guys like Zobrist and Hayward to kind of hit for contact when other guys weren't hitting.
To avoid this exact situation.
To avoid these slump-type moments. And, here we are. Hayward's not even playing because his offense has been so bad. And the Cubs are just slumping all the way around. Yeah.
I'll say this. I see a lot of parallels right now between these last 2 games and the series last year against the Mets. We'll say that. Just kind of inexplicably coming up cold when they need some offense.
And that stinks to hear because that's baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Baseball. It's so frustrating because you don't expect your entire team to slump at the same time.
Yeah.
But here we are, and the entire team is slumping at the same exact time.
They're all struggling against these Dodgers starting pitchers. Rich Hill looked really good tonight. They could not hit his curveball to save their lives. But yeah, it's frustrating right now for sure.
Yeah, watching Rich Hill tonight was really interesting for me, and just like the different arm angles that he had in regards to that curveball and how he was getting people out with it. which, I mean, I was looking at Rich Hill and I was like, oh man, I mean, this guy's hittable.
Yeah.
I feel like the Cubs will be able to get, if not after like the first 3 innings, probably like the second time through the order, I was expecting some hits and the guys to at least get on base. But Rich Hill was just, mowing them down one by one. So it was impressive for him. And of course, when you get to Jansen, came in again in the 8th, which was, I mean, minor win probably for the Cubs. If you had to take anything from this game, it's the fact that Jansen pitched
2 innings.
2 innings, which, I mean, Dave Roberts does not care about pitch count or anything like that from what I've seen. Yeah, he just does not care. He's going to throw his best guys whenever he gets the chance. And
I think he would throw Kershaw basically every night if he could.
I know. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, the guy.
Yeah, I don't blame him either.
You saw what could happen in Game 2.
Yeah.
With Kershaw on the mound, and I mean, everyone even in that situation was saying, like he's coming off short rest. We'll see how he looks, and he looked great.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah. So
very scary moving forward in the series.
Yeah. I mean, it's always terrifying when you're going up against Kershaw, but when he's on a roll like this.
Yeah. I knew the Cubs would most likely struggle against Kershaw. In the past, it's not like they've been very good against him at all, so I was kind of expecting more of the same, but I didn't like the fact that they came out and laid another egg in Game 3. So, yeah,
I'm just hoping for a Game 4 explosion of sorts. Against a 20-year-old Urias, or am I saying that right? Urias.
Yeah, I think that's right. Could be wrong. But...
youngest player to make a postseason start ever. So
he's 20, right? He's 20.
Yep, 20 years old. So that's insane.
Yep.
We'll see how he does.
Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot. I think he's got some good stuff. But in this situation, I feel like the Cubs should be able to come out hot and at least get some more hits than they had tonight, especially early on too.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to see guys get on base at this point. I mean, you had that situation, I think it was the 3rd inning tonight, where men were on 2nd and 3rd, had a chance of driving some runs. They came up empty.
The Addison strikeout or pop-up?
The Addison strikeout, I believe.
He's been probably the worst player offensively for the Cubs, I would say. Even more than Rizzo. Well, on par with Rizzo.
Yeah, but I mean, at least Rizzo has drawn a couple walks here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, neither have been great.
He's definitely having better at bats where he's battling a little more and like fouling pitches off, but in terms of production, both have done pretty much just about the same amount of production from both those guys. Which is like literally nothing.
Yeah, I mean, just the Cubs need Addison Russell right now, just because, I mean, he produced 90-plus RBIs for them throughout the regular season, and you're expecting that kind of production, especially in the postseason.
And he's had chances to drive in some runs. He just hasn't come through. It's been disappointing.
Yeah, it has been. It's been something that I'm pretty confused about. And also he mentioned, I think Patrick Mooney, about how fatigue could possibly be a factor. Yeah. And I don't really see how that could be the case. I mean, this team has gotten a lot of rest, heading into this series, and even like with, them clinching division so early,
that's not an excuse. That's definitely.
I mean, Addison has always struggled with hitting breaking pitches, and I think he just looks extremely anxious and just like not mentally there. I think for the Cubs offense, they just need to, this is what's so frustrating. You have a manager that was brought in to kind of manage the mental part of the game. And I mean by that, it's like Joe Madden the mental aspect of the game to him is so different compared to other managers around baseball. The fact that he's very good with taking the pressure off of his players. And for some reason, this series so far, the pressure has gotten to these young Cub hitters. And maybe I'm overreacting because they did have a great Game 1 win. And Game 2, they were in it, but still no offense against Clayton Kershaw and Jansen. You know, that's going to be tough.
Which is expected, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not calling this series over at all. I mean, it's not even close. This is one of the most resilient teams that I've ever seen, the best Cubs team I've ever seen, period. So something's got to give here. Tomorrow's a huge game, the biggest game of the Cubs season, must win.
Yeah.
Going up against a very young pitcher, you got John Lackey, who's experienced in the postseason. Hopefully he comes out with some good stuff. He's been kind of up and down recently, but just got to hope the bats come alive.
Yeah, I heard Coomer. I was listening to the radio broadcast for a little bit tonight, and you know, I've heard a lot of people say this, and I heard Coomer say it like 3 or 4 times, but it just, I feel like it's going to take one of those innings where they just get, you know, that leadoff guy on and then like a extra base hit to get this team going. Kind of like in the Giants series in that Game 4 win. You know, they know nothing all game, and then Dexter gets on, or what was it? Chris gets on, and then a walk, and then an extra base hit, and then it just kind of opened up for everybody. I feel like if they're going to break out of this little slump they're in, that's the type of thing that will get them going again. And they should have innings like that against a young guy in his first – no, he started Game 5 for the National.
But he only went 2 innings.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, we'll see. They're not going against a guy who, like Rich Hill. Rich Hill, I know he's 36 and has been a journeyman and never figured it out until recently, but he's at like a 2.15 ERA or something crazy like that on the season. So, you know, they'll get a chance to hit the ball tomorrow, I feel like. Even against a kid with good stuff.
Yeah, he's got good stuff, but you know, I don't know if the nerves will get to him or what, but I'm just hoping that what I want to see tomorrow is for the Cubs to get leadoff men on base, to work some counts, which has been tough because I mentioned to you earlier tonight that these Dodger pitchers are really throwing strikes, which is not playing to the Cubs' strengths. The Cubs are at their best when they work the count and have good at bats. And
a lot of quick innings tonight.
Yeah, ton of quick innings, and that's too bad for the Cubs because I mean, you were hoping tonight that some of their hitters were going to capitalize on Hill's fastball. We kept hearing about his curveball's good, but if Hill makes a mistake over the plate with a fastball, I mean, it's only getting up to 93. Cubs should be able to just drive that sucker, you know?
Yeah, best fastball hitting team in the big leagues.
Yep, and nothing to show for it tonight, unfortunately.
Well, I think he stayed away from his fastball a lot tonight. I know against lefties he was throwing a lot of curveballs. Not as much fastballs, but yeah, it was rough tonight. It was rough.
It's very, very rough. What did you think about Joe putting Soler in the lineup over Hayward?
It made sense to me. After last night where they just didn't do anything, I kind of expected a move like this, you know, just Joe trying to get the offense going. I think we're going to see more moves like this tomorrow. You know, just bring in all the bats you can possibly get to see if this team can get going. But we'll see. You know?
I would not be surprised if Wilson Contreras gets a start tomorrow.
Yeah, he's definitely. I feel like he's been neglected on this team so far. I mean, Ross has been good. He was good in the Giants series, and Montero had the big home run. But I feel like Wilson has been severely underplayed so far.
I think you can even put. here's a bold prediction here.